You're in tune to Chicago's most popular college radio station. 89.3 is WKKC. This is Focus Talk, and I'm your host, Dennis Snipe. How many times have you heard the phrase that you have everything that you need? No matter what you want to do in your life, you already have it. Well, my very next guest today, Dr. Derek Greenfield, has written a book entitled The Answer is in Your Hands. Be about success. Dr. Greenfield, how are you today?
I'm outstanding, getting better. How about you, Dennis?
I am very well. Thank you for asking. Well, you know what? I want to get right into it and give me a little information about this particular book. The Answer is in Your Hands. Be about success. Tell me a little bit about the book.
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks again for the opportunity and for your great work to inspire listeners in the community. You know, the book was designed to be something practical and accessible for folks, to have them recognize the answer is in their hands, that they have the power and potential to make what they want to see take place in their lives, and that today is the first day of the rest and best of your life. Today's the first day. What happened yesterday, last year, that's done. And we all have the ability and the potential to see the great things that we want to see take place. You know, I tell people I'm not supposed to be here right now. And not that you got your backup guest for the show, but I'm not supposed to be here because both my parents had cancer before I was born, and they were told they could have no more kids.
Wow.
And people say that means you're in an accident. I say cars have accidents. I'm surprised. I'm not supposed to be here, but I know that I'm here for a purpose. And that every single person listening right now needs to know that also they're here for a purpose as well, that there's never been anybody in the history of the world created like them before, and there's never going to be another you. And even on that night alone that you were conceived, don't picture it, but the night that each person was conceived, there were up to 500 million sperm represented. Each one was a different and distinct individual, and you were chosen. And so out of all those odds that seem impossible, you're here for a purpose. And so the book is designed to give some practical strategies for how you can tap into your greatness, how you can work on strategically working towards your goals, and having fun and enjoying yourself along the way. So I'm really excited to share that with folks and really build a movement, not just a moment, but a movement of people who are dedicated to achieving their goals in life and building communities that are empowered to accomplish great things.
Now, Dr. Greenfield, you sound really good, and it's inspirational, it's positive, and a certain piece, you almost sound like a preacher that would inspire the people to go above and beyond. But what do you say to the individuals who may say that, you know, it sounds cliche-ish, and I've heard it before, but my situation, my circumstance is totally different from the next guy, and it's a very strong possibility that my next move may be my last?
Right, and I can appreciate that point. And, you know, those moments we've all been through them. And I certainly would never say that I haven't gone through challenges, but, you know, as Dr. King said, only when it's darkest can you see the stars. And you can get bitter or you can get better. And my challenge to folks is to say that regardless of what happens, what kind of life do you want to live? What is it that's possible for you? People may try to tell you can't do something you're not able to, but are we going to relinquish that power to others or decide for ourselves that we're worthy and there's one shot that we got of being in our best? And so for those who are in those moments, again, that's the beautiful situation that you have, is a chance for you to realize that maybe today start something new. Maybe today is the moment that I'm going to take a shot, take a risk, to maybe forgive someone you need to forgive, to apologize to someone you need to apologize to be able to trust yourself and forgive yourself for your mistakes and say, you know what, at least I'm going to go out giving it my best. Because I think that people often will say, well, what if I fail, or what if I can't make it? My response is, what if you do? Or what if you didn't take that shot and always regret it for the rest of your life? So I'm certainly attuned to the fact that we all have our own stories and we all have our own struggles, but the more we can talk about it, and so I don't just say, hey, here it is, you just get this, you know, this wonderful little injection I give you and it's done. No, my job is to say, to help you to realize within yourself your power, to build communities where people can support and encourage and listen to one another and help each other to heal, and then be able to say, let's go, let's do this. It's possible, and together we can get it done. Just as a quick reminder, anybody listening right now, if they could reach their hands in the air or reach out as far as you possibly can, even you, Dennis, do me a favor, even like can't see you, reach out as high as you can or as far as you can.
All right, I'm reaching.
And now reach a little bit further.
Okay.
Okay, and stop. Now, did you reach further when I said reach further?
You know what? Yeah, I did.
But I said reach as high as you could the first time.
Right.
And so when I challenge people to reach that little bit more, to do that a little bit more, water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit, but 211 is just hot water. That 1 degree that they give could change everything. It goes from hot water to boiling, purified water that can power a locomotive. So someone listening right now who's scared, that 1 degree, you might be right there about to come out of the thing that you're in, but you may have given up that power. You might be right on the verge of just telling someone, I'm sorry. Let's talk about it. Let's forgive each other so we can move forward. Push yourself, take that risk, believe and trust in yourself, and give yourself the best shot you deserve.
Now, Dr. Greenfield, when I pick up your book, when I read The Answer is in Your Hands, Be About Success, what do you want me to come away with knowing, believing, or understanding? What should be my takeaways?
Yeah, the book has lots of different tools and techniques and thoughts to think about, but I think for the simplest point right now, I'll go at is what I'll call the ABC. Start with A, attitude. To have that positive attitude. Attitudes are contagious. Make yours worth catching. Think about just beginning to start to say to yourself, I deserve the best, that I'm worthy of it, that really I ought to begin to put out into the universe the kind of spirit that will attract positive people in my life. I want to be able to live in ways that, it takes 70 muscles to frown and only 14 to smile. So if we would just smile a little bit more, if we would walk in a situation saying, even if I've been hurt, I'm going to smile because I deserve the best. And I won't let that other person continue to abuse me by letting me be angry at my own life. So start with a positive attitude that says that it's possible, that we can do, and that if we bring good positive energy, we're going to push ourselves more, and other people are going to want to be around us. B stands for behavior in the ABCs. So begin to strategize. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So start thinking about where do I want to be a month from now, and 6 months from now, and 10 years from now, and start thinking about what do you need in order to get there. If I told you there was $1 million over there on the south side on 95th Street, you're going to get in the car and go. And if you didn't know how to get there, you'll get a map. Well, start making some maps. Start strategizing for your success. Start thinking about what you need to do to put yourself in a position to get the resources, to get the support you need, and build the folks around you that can encourage you to stay on that positive track. If you get in the car with me and we're going to 95th Street to get that money, and all of a sudden you say, man, I need to stop off here and talk to my lady, I may need to get you out of the car because I'm going to 95th Street. And if you're not going where I'm going, and sometimes it's what I call addition by subtraction, we may need to let go of some people who aren't going where we're going. Not that they're bad people, but their behavior is keeping us from strategizing for our own success. So start thinking about what you need to do, what steps you need to take, and who you need to have around you. And then C stands for collaboration. That none of us are smart as all of us. We need that support team. Geese fly faster when they fly together because they push each other. And the same thing with exercising. We know people stay in exercise programs longer and more successfully when they do it together. People who are actually recovering from cancer are more likely to get healthy if they exercise together than even if they exercise alone. So if we do it together, we can hold each other accountable. We can encourage each other. It makes it more fun. And indeed, then other people, sometimes we say, I don't need anybody else. We do need other people. We need other people to challenge us when we're going down the wrong path. We need other people to encourage us when we're having a moment of doubt or confusion. And we just need to do this together because the ride is so much more enjoyable.
Now, the book, how long did it take you to compile, to create The Answers in Your Hands, Be About Success, Dr. Greenfield?
It probably took me to finish and publish and do all that work about a year and a half. Most of the writing got done in about 3 or 4 months. But I'm the kind of person who says, before I put it out there, I want to go back over it. I want to make sure that every word captures what I want to get across and show it to other people and get their feedback and to practice what I was preaching in the book and to really make sure we build a collaborative process. And so for anybody out there who has some ideas, write. The beautiful thing right now about even the internet is you can create free blog sites and share your ideas. I tell people when they say, well, how do I keep it going? I tell them, make their own audio motivational tape, right? Get it with your phone or any of your technology on your computer, record yourself, hyping yourself up, and then put it on, on the phone and play it for yourself. And when you're in the car and you're laughing and getting excited that someone says, who are you listening to? You're like me. I listen to me. And just get excited about the potential that you have wherever you are. Create tap into your genius. But again, the process for me took about a year and a half before I actually put it out there. And I'm proud of taking that time to make sure it was the best quality product.
Now, where's your book available, Dr. Greenfield?
I sell it on my website, which is DerekGreenfield.com, DEREK Greenfield.com, and folks can purchase it right online, or even if you just email me, we can figure out some other way to get it to you. I wanted to be able to handle and have all the autonomy and control over the process by selling it myself.
Awesome. Now, we were talking just a little bit before the actual interview started about the spoken word piece that you do as well. Give me some information about that.
Yeah, a couple of days ago, I sat down literally. It was on Saturday and wrote a piece in a few hours. And that night, I went to a spoken word open mic and shared it. And I really was happy and so honored with the response, and it's getting some pretty good traction on social media. I'm going to perform it tonight in New York City. And the piece is called Hunting Season. And I was thinking, I was in Mississippi for a speaking engagement last week. And as I was driving through, people reminded me, I used to live in Mississippi, they said, remember the deer on the side of the road, and you got to be careful, this is deer season. And I went online to look up information, and I found out we're in the midst of hunting season. And the website for the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks has pages of information about where you can hunt and regulations. And I really started thinking about that it's been hunting season on the lives of black and brown men for a long time, and where are the regulations to protect them? So we know that right now, with all the situations that have taken place, from Trayvon Martin to Mike Brown to Eric Garner, to the list goes on, of young men of color in particular who feel like it's hunting season on their lives and on their souls. And where are we going to stand up and protect them, create regulations to ensure their vitality? And so it's a piece that not only speaks about the kind of issues that are taking place, but also really challenges us to be hunters in the community of the greatness of young people, hunters and gatherers for peace and for mentorship, and hunters and gatherers of opportunities for them. So it really is to speak about the hunting that happens to, in so many ways, put young men of color in danger, but how we need to be positive hunters. We have to have our own NRA, the National Right to Achieve, so that every young black male, every young Latino male, and every male in general knows that they are amazing. They're not at risk. They're at success. And we need to look at them positively and provide opportunities for them to maximize their greatness and to surround them with the loving and compassionate arms of a community that believes and trusts them.
Now, Dr. Greenfield, there's some young man, some young woman who's listening to this broadcast right now as we speak, who may feel as if though that they're at the end, or who may feel as if though what I see on television or what I listen to on the radio, or even what I've read in books is not for me because the life that I'm living is all that there is. What can you say to them right now to assist them in making not the 360, but making the 180 to doing something different in their life right now?
I think that's a really powerful point, and I appreciate you raising that. Sometimes we get to believe. People say, well, that's just not me. Like somebody says, you want to try this new, go to the concert of the orchestra, or to try new food. That's just not me. Or that's just not what I do. And I remind them, the babies don't just say to their mothers, I just don't walk. That's not me. Right? Just because you haven't done it yet doesn't mean it can't be you. I remember hearing a friend of mine who was a youth worker in New York City, and he went up to some young people and said, hey, we're going to go play squash today. And the kids were like, we don't do that. People like us don't play squash. That's for the rich people. He said, well, just give it a shot. Fast forward 3 years later, the kid was city champion at squash. True story. So that sometimes we believe that's not me. It's just not who you are right now. It doesn't mean it's not who you can't be. When people say, I don't know, I always say, how about you say, I'm working on learning? Because I don't know just puts you in a fixed state of lack of knowledge as opposed to working towards it. So someone right now listening saying, I'm caught up in the street life, or I'm caught up, or I just don't think there's anything else for me. I don't believe that's why you were put on this earth. You know, if you look inside of yourself, you have amazing talents. You know that you deserve to have better in life if you've been hurt and abused, and it's possible. Take the word impossible, break it up. It just says I'm possible. And if we start with the idea that we can, to take a risk and find people who will encourage and support your dreams, and just go for it. Go for it. You don't have to have a life that you don't want to have, and you don't deserve that. So people, just the idea of saying, I don't have to do what I've always done. I can be different. I can be challenged. And just know that I'll give all my contact information. Anybody listening right now needs someone to talk to. They want to just cry, scream, yell, whatever they need, or just a little encouragement, mentorship, I got you. And that's my word.
Awesome. Awesome. Dr. Greenfield, can you give us just a little bit of your story? Because we see you where you are now and what you're doing and speaking, and I think that's just awesome. I think that's just awesomely wonderful to be where you are. However, how did you start on this particular path?
Sure. I actually started out wanting to be a sports announcer. So all my years growing up, I'd be like, here comes Mom with the burgers, right? I mean, I would announce anything on radio and TV and went to college to do it. And then I ended up couldn't find a job after my freshman year of college. I did a little bit of telemarketing. I mean, I did all these little crappy summer jobs. And then I found there was a summer camp that were looking for counselors. And I said, well, why not? Let's just try it. And I fell in love with the idea of the power of education, of my ability to hopefully help people to empower themselves for their greatness. And that transformed my life. I ended up being a youth worker there in Chicago. I ran a number of youth programs on the south and west sides, and some schools on the northwest side. Henry Horner Homes back in the day, had the office out of there. So, I really got excited about what we could do to help people find their own brilliance and their own greatness. Then decided to go teach college, because a lot of the young people that I was working with, I felt like we did a great job in our program, but we sent them, unfortunately, off to colleges that weren't understanding of their needs, right? Who didn't have cultural competence in their repertoire. They didn't appreciate kids coming from inner city Chicago and looked down on them. And those kids came back, and we weren't as successful in helping them as we could have been. So I said, why don't I go to a college and teach at a college and see if I can help transform the culture that was there to build more inclusion. Taught in Seattle for 8 years, went down to Raleigh, taught a number of schools in Raleigh, moved down to Mississippi for 3 years as the chief diversity officer at Alcorn State, an historically black college in Mississippi, and now I'm doing this full time. But I've been through lots of challenges. I will not, and again, I speak about it, whether it's in the book or anything else. I don't tell anybody that I just put smiley faces on my knees and everything's all right. I make it very clear that those moments that I felt like I was maybe about to crash and burn, right? Mm-hmm. But I realized I could crash and learn from it, and that those were chances for me to gain wisdom and experience. Some of the best things that ever can happen to you are some of the worst things that happen to you. Because it can strengthen you, it can enlighten you, it can motivate you, it can push you. You have the power. And so I went through a time when I was in my early 20s where I was depressed, where I didn't know what to do. I was struggling to find my full identity. And luckily I had a support system, family and friends who loved me and believed in me. And I had to put myself in a position so that I could capitalize on what it is that I thought my life was supposed to be about. So I know firsthand. I lost my father 7 years ago, watched him take his last breath. I've been through the pain of losing friends. I've been through a lot of those situations. But that's what inspires me to keep going, because I've got to win. I got to win for me. I got to win for my son. I got to win for my dad. I got to win for anybody out there who needs to have an example that it's possible. And I'm real. Anybody who I mentor, they know. I tell them the good, the bad, the ugly. They'll know everything about me. I have nothing to hide, because within our true self, our true honesty, if you know that I've been through it, maybe you'll want to talk to me about what you've been through. And then allows us the context for healing and change.
Awesome. Thank you so very much for sharing, because your story helps someone else who's listening to know that they can make it, they can do it, simply because they hear of your testimony that you've done it, that you've made it. So I appreciate that so very much. Even though you've already done it. Can you do this for me? Can you give us some closing words?
Oh, absolutely. Again, I just want to thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the work that you do to focus on greatness, to focus on community challenges. For that young person who you've talked about several times who's not sure. The word crisis in Japanese, the characters they have, there's two different characters for that one word, and one is danger, and the other is opportunity. That every crisis we go through gives us certainly a dangerous situation, but an opportunity for change. You deserve the best. You can be the best, and you are the best, because you're here on this earth. And whatever I can do. And again, I can be reached my website, DerrickGreenfield.com, on Twitter, Instagram, Professor DG, Facebook, Derrick Greenfield. Promise you, if you reach out, promise that I'll respond, and however I can be of support. I just know you're not alone. But let's find our greatness. Let's capitalize on this moment of excellence. And again, just know today is the first day of the rest and best of your life.
Dr. Derek Greenfield, you are awesome, man. I really appreciate you. You just don't know. I thank you for your work. I thank you for your essence, for your spirit, and I wish you well in your endeavors.
Same back at you. Anytime I can be of continued support and assistance, holler at me anytime.
I'm going to hold you to that.
You know it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dr. Greenfield. Take care now.
Got it. Thank you. Peace.